At the family meeting, my parents smiled and said, "Lainey, we've decided to use your inheritance to buy a condo for your brother." For a second, I thought I'd misheard. My inheritance. The money my grandparents left specifically for me. Gone, just like that. And the worst part? Everyone at the table nodded like it was the most natural thing in the world. If you think that's unfair, hit that share button and subscribe, because this story only gets crazier from here. I kept my face calm, but inside, I felt my stomach twist. My brother, Tyler, smirked and leaned back in his chair. "It's not like you need it, Lainey. You're just working at that little bookstore, right?" The way he said it, like my job was a joke, made my blood boil. My aunt chimed in, "It's for the good of the family. Tyler's getting married soon. He needs stability." I wanted to scream, and I don't. But I stayed quiet, my mind already spinning. They thought I was still the broke, overlooked Lainey who scraped by paycheck to paycheck. They had no idea about the nights I spent working after closing hours. The silent deals I'd made, the thing I'd been building in the shadows for 3 years. Then Dad leaned in, lowering his voice like this was some kind of favor. "We'll handle the paperwork. You just need to sign the release form. Think of it as helping your brother start his life." I looked at the folder he slid toward me. My name printed neatly at the top. My signature line waiting. What none of them knew was that the second I signed anything, their perfect little plan would crumble, because I'd been holding a card they didn't even know existed. And I was about to play it. I pushed the folder back toward Dad, keeping my voice steady. "I'll think about it." That single line made them all exchange smug looks, like they'd already won. Tyler whispered something to his fiancée, who smirked and glanced at me with pity, the kind you give to someone you think is powerless. What they didn't realize was that while they were busy mocking me over the years, I'd been making moves they couldn't imagine. The bookstore? Just my cover. What I didn't tell them was that 2 years ago, I'd started an online business from the back office, one that now made more in a month than Tyler had earned in the last 2 years combined. "Don't take too long, Lainey," Mom said sweetly. "The seller for the condo won't wait forever." Her tone dripped with fake patience, the kind that made my skin crawl. My aunt added, "You've always been the reasonable one. Unlike some people." I forced a smile, playing the role they expected. But inside, I was counting down. Just 3 more days until my deal closed, the one that would change everything. "Can I see the place you're buying for him?" I asked, tilting my head. Tyler grinned, thinking I was finally accepting their plan. "Of course. It's gorgeous. Downtown view, marble kitchen, everything you could never afford." His fiancée laughed quietly, covering her mouth like it was some private joke. I leaned back, letting them bask in their little victory. But as I glanced at my phone, a new email popped up, the one I'd been waiting for. My heart raced as I read the subject line, "Final contract approval, funds transfer scheduled." They were busy planning Tyler's condo, and had no idea I was about to buy something that would make their jaws hit the floor. 2 days later, Mom called me, her voice dripping with urgency. "Lainey, the condo seller is getting impatient. We need your signature today." I pretended to hesitate. "I'm just not sure yet." Tyler grabbed the phone. "Stop being selfish, Lainey. You're single, you don't need a big place or money sitting in an account doing nothing. This is for family." That word, family, coming from him made me want to laugh. This was the same brother who wouldn't lend me $20 when my car broke down last year. That evening, I agreed to meet them for dinner at a fancy downtown restaurant. The moment I walked in, Tyler waved me over with that arrogant smile. "Guess what, Lainey? We already scheduled the condo inspection. All that's left is you signing the form." The rest of the table clapped like it was some grand achievement. I sat down, calm, while inside my mind replayed the wire transfer confirmation I'd received that morning. My deal had closed, the one I'd built from scratch in secret. And now, my bank account had more zeros than they could imagine. "Before we talk about the condo," I said, reaching into my bag, "I have something to show you." I pulled out a thick envelope and placed it in the center of the table. Everyone leaned forward, curiosity flickering in their eyes. Tyler smirked. "What's this? Your resignation from the bookstore?" His fiancée chuckled. I smiled back. "Something like that." I slowly slid the papers out, and the first page made my mother's wine glass stop halfway to her lips. It was a deed. Not for a condo. Not for anything they'd imagined. And as Tyler read the name on it, his smug grin started to crack, his voice faltered as he read aloud, "Penthouse? Ownership transfer, to Lainey Parker?" The table went silent. My aunt's fork clinked against her plate. Mom blinked like she was trying to process the words. Dad leaned forward, scanning the document as if reading it twice would make it. Changed. I kept my tone casual. "Closed the deal this morning. Full payment. Cash." Then I let that sink in before adding, "Oh, and it's 3 floors above the condo you're buying for Tyler. Has a better view." Tyler's fiancé stared at me like I'd just spoken another language. "But, how? You work at a bookstore." I leaned back, letting them stew in confusion. "The bookstore's just the front. I've been running an online business for years. Yesterday, a major partnership deal went through. So while you were planning to use my inheritance, I slid the papers back into the envelope. I was busy making it irrelevant." Dad's jaw tightened. "Lainey, you should have told us." "Why?" I cut in. "So you could find another way to take it?" "No thanks." Tyler's face turned red. "This is ridiculous. You can't just." I placed my phone on the table and tapped the screen. A photo lit up, me, standing in my new penthouse with the city skyline glowing behind me. "Oh, I can." And I did. For the first time in my life, they all looked at me without a single ounce of pity. But I wasn't finished yet. Because the next thing I was about to reveal would shatter whatever pride Tyler had left. I let the silence hang in the air for a moment, letting them squirm. Tyler's hands were balled into fists on the table, his fiancée chewing her lip, Mom staring at me like she didn't recognize the daughter sitting in front of her. Dad tried to keep a level voice, but it cracked when he spoke. "Lainey, what exactly are you saying?" I leaned forward, my voice calm but sharp enough to cut through the tension. "I'm saying the girl you all looked down on, the one you called broke, unambitious, and just a bookstore clerk, is now wealthier than every single person at this table combined. And I didn't need a penny of that inheritance to get here." Tyler scoffed, trying to recover his swagger. "Money doesn't mean everything." I smirked. "Oh, I agree. But freedom does. And I've got enough of it to never have to sit through another meeting like this again." My aunt's voice was sharp, almost defensive. "So, you're not giving the inheritance to help your brother?" I tilted my head, pretending to think. "No. In fact, I pulled another paper from the envelope and slid it toward them. I've already moved the funds into a trust, one that only I can access. Legally airtight. You can't touch it." "Mom," gasped, and Tyler's face went pale. "You can't do that," he snapped out. I met his glare with a slow smile. "I already did." The waiter arrived with our meals, completely oblivious to the war that had just erupted at the table. Tyler pushed his plate away, too angry to eat. I, on the other hand, picked up my fork and took a slow bite. This is good. Funny how things taste better when you're not being stolen from." Dad tried again, his voice low. "Lainey, you've made your point. But families should stick together." I set my fork down and looked him dead in the eye. Families should protect each other, not plot behind closed doors to strip one of them dry. I let the words settle before adding, "You made your choice. Now I've made mine." Tyler leaned back, muttering under his breath, but I caught it, "You'll regret this." I laughed softly. "The only thing I regret is not letting you find out sooner." I reached into my bag, pulled out a key card, and placed it next to my wine glass. "This is for the private elevator to my penthouse. You won't ever see it again, but I wanted you to know it exists." They stared at the card like it was some kind of mythical object. For years, they had been the ones with power over me, deciding what I deserved, what I could have, and when I could have it. Tonight, that balance had flipped forever. I stood, gathering my things. "Enjoy dinner. It's on me." I placed my black Amex on the table, the one they didn't know existed until now, and walked out without looking back. As the cool night air hit my face, my phone buzzed. A text from my lawyer lit up the screen. "Everything is finalized. The penthouse is officially yours. Congratulations." I smiled, heading toward the car waiting for me at the curb. For the first time in years, I felt completely untouchable. Inside that restaurant, they were probably still talking, trying to make sense of how the girl they once dismissed had just outplayed them all. And tomorrow, when they saw the news about my business's expansion and the luxury property I'd just acquired, the world would know too. They wanted to take my future. Instead, I'd built one so big they couldn't even reach the door. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.